Happy Thursday, Intuitives. Thanks again for tuning in, and special thanks to anybody who subscribed. Please like and subscribe. I, like this channel to grow and get these videos out because I know, they could be beneficial for those of us that share the INFJ and ENFJ personality type, or for people who are close friends or interested in dating one of us eccentric types. So I wanted to talk today about a topic I touched on in an earlier video. This will tie in with my INFJ males' views on love and sex. And this video, strangely enough, isn't for INFJs and ENFJs. It's more for people that are interested, in a relationship with one of us. And I'm going to discuss, in general, what INFJs and ENFJs look for in a romantic partner. Now, I want to give a disclaimer, too. This is coming from the perspective of an INFJ. I'm sure the ENFJ differs a little bit, but from what I've noticed and read and the ENFJs I've known, there's a lot of overlap in what we look for. So, first off, we're picky. INFJs and ENFJs, we know what we're looking for, and we're not the type to settle. Because we are not, the hookup type or the casual dating type. It falls into all or nothing syndrome. We're either with someone that we can see something real with in long term, or we're not. We don't do anything really halfway. So, that being said, given our intuition, we're forward thinking. So we're going to be, when we meet someone, our intuition will be spitting information back at us. It'll be ENFJs, they'll be going for their extroverted feeling more and dealing with chemistry and all that. But their intuition kicks in too. With INFJs, as always, intuition is first and foremost. And we're both types are going to be forward thinking, looking down the track to see if there's any future between us. Do we see it possibly working out, or do we see potential issues that would, basically stop a relationship before it even got started? Now, ironically enough, one thing that doesn't scare us off, INFJs and ENFJs, is long distance. From what I've read and from my experience, we seem to be the best equipped for long distance relationships and making them work. The trouble with that is it usually doesn't unless the other party involved is either an INFJ or ENFJ, because otherwise we'll just be stuck carrying the emotional load and being the one keeping the relationship alive. Long distance relationships are tough enough. You need to make it work. Two people who truly believe they found something and, committed to making it work. And one of the parties has to be willing to move eventually. I mean, usually with us, we're the type that we know we've made a connection relatively early. As picky as we are, we can recognize when something has potential kind of right away. So we do have that going for us. Now, in terms of what we look for, we want people that are genuine. We cannot stand fake people. And given our intuition, we're pretty good at seeing right through them. Maybe not so much when we're younger. It seems to be a rite of passage for us to get, conned into a relationship with a narcissist that seems charming and authentic, and, it turns out that they were using us all along. A lot of times it'll be someone using us for connections of some sort. That seems to be more of the case with men that I've seen. With women, particularly ENFJ women, it'll be, some older guy who basically tries to tell her that he's ready to settle down, but he just wanted a casual short-term fling with a beautiful girl a lot younger than him. So we need people that are genuine, people that, don't try to pretend to be something they're not. Integrity is a big part of it. Be honest with who and what you are. We're more likely to respect someone who maybe we disagree with on some key points, but is open and honest about that instead of trying to put on a mask and pretend to be, someone that they are not. We're not materialistic. So INFJs and ENFJs, we don't play the keeping up with the Joneses game. We are people of substance. So we value more that deep emotional connection. We're looking for someone that we can sit on a couch with and talk for hours and completely lose track of time, or maybe even talk all night or fall asleep talking to someone. We need people to be open, that aren't afraid to show their emotions. I know INFJs, we come off as very cold at first, but both of us, INFJs and ENFJs, more so INFJs, have trust issues. Not that we will forever have trust issues with somebody. Once we trust someone, we trust them fully, but we're very selective about, who we open up to and who we let into our circle of trust. So that's important. Betrayal, we don't handle that well at all, either type. You know, every INFJ, for people that betray us, like, if this was not the real world, we would feed them to dragons if we had them, like a famous INFJ character was known for doing. And all INFJs applauded that probably because we don't like betrayal. So if you betray us, we'll door slam you. Like, there is no second, third, fourth chances for something like a big betrayal. We take relationships seriously. We're very committed, very loyal, and if the other person isn't, and we recognize that, and they betray us in some way, that's the end. Like, we're not the type that enters a relationship and then breaks up and gets back together 5 or 6 times. That's just not who we are. We're the type of people, if you want to enter a relationship with us, you better be committed, and you better take it seriously, because we do. And we're not the type to settle and be in a relationship just to be with somebody. More so INFJs, we tend to be okay alone. That is part of our introverted nature. And ENFJs, though they're extroverts, they are on the more introverted spectrum of the extroverts, and they're known to have a very big friend circle. So they're able to, get their extroversion and people connections fairly well outside of relationships, instead of staying in a relationship with someone who does not appreciate them and isn't fully committed to it. We like people to notice things. We pay attention to people intensely. We're known to have great memories, and we'll store that information away and do things for our partner out of the blue, just to show that we care and that we pay attention. You're not going to impress us by not listening to us, not taking our interests seriously, not getting to know us on that deep soul connection level, and then, buy us some gift that's made of platinum just because it costs money. That's not going to impress us. We're more impressed by doing little things for no reason. Like an example that I use is an INFJ, because INFJs, we're prone to picking up on the little details. ENFJs love that, people who do that, and that's why, in my opinion, we're a very good match. Most people agree it's one of the better matches for both types, but not necessarily the best. Well, I'm saying that it certainly is for this INFJ. But, INFJs and ENFJs, yeah, we like to know that people pay attention to us. People will do things without looking for something in return. Like, as an INFJ male, I'll give you an example. If you're dating a girl and she comes home completely stressed out and look like she had a long day, out of the blue, like, draw her a bath and give her a massage in the tub, and that's, it doesn't cost you anything. It shows that you care, and it shows that you actually get upset by the fact that she's upset. Like, ENFJs love, being the big empaths they are, they love to see other people have empathy, and especially empathy for them, because they're known more than INFJs to give all of themselves in a relationship. Like, they are the most giving people. They would do anything for somebody they're in love with, and they like their partners to know that's how committed they are, to know how much they love them, and, to show that same appreciation in return, which INFJs are pretty good at doing too. So, we'll quickly pick up on if someone's trying to con us and take advantage of us. That goes to our trust issues. We've all, INFJs and ENFJs, our kindness and empathy and willingness to help people has been taken advantage of in some way at some time in our life. People who we try to help, who really don't want to help themselves and don't want, to improve their situation. They just get their supply off of the histrionics of poor me, poor me. Like, they keep complaining about
things not changing or getting for the better, but in essence they do nothing for themselves to try to change things. They just keep perpetuating the status quo because what they want is pity. Some misconceptions that can be misinterpreted about being in a relationship with us types. INFJs, we're known to be a little intense. Like I said, we don't do anything halfway. Goes into our all or nothing syndrome. So when we're interested in somebody, we want to know everything about them. We want to know, the details of every part. We want to have those deep conversations. We want to be emotionally vulnerable with that person and show our true selves and really, connect on that deeper level. ENFJs, similarly, they get mislabeled as a little needy, and the reality is they're just very loving and affectionate people, and they want to show that affection, and they want that affection shown in return. As I said, they're huge givers. They'll do anything for their partner, and they like to show FE. They're really expressive. They want to have there be no doubt to that partner, how into them they are, and they want to make sure that that partner's just as into them, because a lot of times they end up being the emotional leader and the one keeping a relationship alive. uh, Another thing with INFJs, especially males, we are terrible, terrible at making the first move. We overthink everything, and especially in terms of asking somebody out. Especially in our younger years, we're not so sure of ourselves, so we think we're going to make a fool out of ourselves. Um, Girls, be blatantly obvious. I mean, it's really, you know, it's funny how well our intuition is, but we can notice when other people are interested, but when someone's flirting with us, it seems to be a blind spot for us. And fortunately for me, ENFJs are pretty obvious. The type I tend to go for is pretty obvious in letting you know when they like you. But yeah, don't be afraid to make the first move with an INFJ. If you think that they like you, they probably do, and they're probably just too afraid to make the first move. Engage us in some kind of deep conversation, and we'll open up, and the walls will be down within 10 minutes. We like originality too. INFJs and ENFJs, we are not like just go with the flow, status quo people. In a lot of respects, we want to change the status quo for the better because we're idealists. So we're not just going to, well, this is what you're supposed to do and like a certain timetable to do things. No, we're going to do it our way, but based on what our feelings are and our emotions, because that's what rule us. So, for example, you want to impress INFJs and ENFJs. Original dates are key. Something that the person's interested in or something that they may not have thought of. Don't do the standard like fancy restaurant just because it's expensive doesn't make it good. I know I've mentioned that before. More original things like, for example, like a hot air balloon ride, or if you're in the history, like set up a picnic or something on a hike by some ruin, that's colonial or older if you live across the pond, because we don't have that luxury here of a lot of history past like the 1600s. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is, sadly. So originality's key, with gifts too. Make it be something from the heart. Don't just throw money at something and be like, oh, I spent a few grand. She's gonna love this. Like, make it be, something original, something that has deep meaning for her. Perhaps something that was harder to track down, but not necessarily more expensive. Uh, don't push our boundaries too much. Understand with INFJs, we need our downtime alone. That's how we recharge. Now, in a relationship, some of that time can be like just the INFJ and their partner. That almost qualifies as alone time. We still need some time completely alone, but time with just the INFJ and their partner can be recharging sometimes because we can't be out amongst people too much or we'll get burnt out with it. It's just a thing. We can be very social and almost act like extroverts, but it's like a battery and it eventually runs out and needs to be recharged. With the NFJs, they want to know that like you truly care and respect them. Like, as I said, they're so giving people and they're usually willing to do anything for their partners. Don't take advantage of that. Don't Don't try to get them to do something that they're not comfortable with. They have trouble saying no, especially when they're younger. And while they'll go along with it and you may think you got one over on them, ENFJs may not expose like your toxic behavior right away, but eventually they will. So just remember that, like, because deep down, ENFJs really care about people, and if you treated the ENFJ poorly, they're going to let everybody know what you did because they're not going to want that to happen to anyone else, what happened to them. And they're, going to rip your mask off and let everybody in your social circle know who you are, who you really are. And you know what? You deserve it if you do, because who can take advantage of an ENFJ? They're like the sweetest, most genuine, loving people, in my opinion. I just don't understand how anybody could hurt them. They would never hurt a fly unless it's in defense of somebody. So it's just some basic things to think about if you're interested in an INFJ or an ENFJ. Important tips to remember and things you should probably know if you're looking to get into a relationship with us. Like I said, one of the probably one of the most important, if not the most important, is don't try to be in a relationship with us if you're not ready for something real, something intense. If you're looking for just some casual fun, more than likely INFJs and ENFJs are not the type you're looking for. We are not solely ruled by physical attractiveness. While that is important to us, that deep emotional connection is always most important. Like, I mean, INFJ male here, I would take a girl who's a 7, who I have that deep connection with, over a 10 any day. That's just my opinion. If anybody has anything to add to anything I said, wants any more detail or clarity on any of these points, or want to add anything, please comment below. Please like and subscribe to help build the channel. I thank you all for taking the time. Oh, and thanks you for those who are letting me know that the audio is messed up on my last video. I'm trying to get that fixed, so hopefully that'll be fixed soon. And thanks for tuning in.